Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Sunday, November 20th, 2022, after 3 p.m. Eastern. Through the course of this lifetime, we all seem to get pulled into this feeling of falling off the path. When the frail egoic human persona takes over, we tend to get wrapped up in identifying ourselves as small, limited, powerless, time-bound beings who are temporarily imprisoned in a physical human form. The human experience can hypnotize us into believing that we are lost or insecure, unhappy, or simply off track. Good news is that the truth is always much bigger than the mind can fathom. Whenever we perceive life to be some random, challenging, confusing experience, take an afternoon to digest what I will share with you. They will open up your inner avenues of connection so you reestablish a heartfelt relationship with your spiritual essence and soon discover the all-powerful, magical, manifesting beings we all truly are again. You can choose to take these steps. First step is opening the doorway to meeting your sacred soul. Starts with feeling into your basic core nature. Who are you at the very innermost core level? We are super powerful, divine beings. It's absolute fact. Exploring this exposes us to become the highest authority of our reality and our lives. Where you decide what is real and what is not. You are the one who is constantly seeing, believing, and perceiving the reality you think is true. The mind is always right about what it believes is real. It's never wrong about what direction it's thinking and believing. Even if you fall off the deep end and believe 1 + 2 = 4, the mind will be very righteous about that. I'm sure you've met people like this. The mind is also coiled up in an old habit of making up fantastic stories about who and what you are and are not. When this mind drops, you drop into your core basic nature. Mindless, still, and free from all thoughts. The mind will try to say that you are not enough of this and too much of that. Don't listen to the mind. Listen to your heart instead. There is an unlimited field of loving energy in our hearts, which is the doorway to having a full body, deeply healing, spiritual awakening experience. A second step to revealing your soul is found within this space-time continuum. Where would the soul reside if it was simply resting and relaxing at the center of you? Where specifically and exactly is the core of you? When you look within yourself, in space and time, is the very center of this thing called you. When you find it, rest for many hours in that space. You will discover that you are pure, powerful, perfect, sweet, complete consciousness. You are the source of divine perfection. The more we can relax into our center, the easier it becomes to realize there never was anything wrong with any of us. That was all just a big fancy show of the mind, fabricating new stories again. Our souls are beyond the mind. It is the ever-present eternal witness at the core essence of you. And it is always there, always available, and ready to be explored. This is the inner journey everyone on this planet, whether they are conscious or unconscious about, or subconscious about, that everyone is seeking. It's the one that can take lifetime to discover. And until we find it, we cannot know deep, everlasting peace. But don't worry. It is predestined that we will find our souls. This spiritual stream of sacredness follows us wherever we go. When we can really relax deep down in the core of our being, the eyes of the soul begin seeing through us. We can perceive the universal spiritual path within the mundane and understand how it's truly impossible to screw up this life. When we relax, we begin to truly trust life. We can feel like we have an infinite amount of time, energy, resources, creativity, knowledge to get it right. Only in a very deep relaxation can we surrender enough to bathe in our soul's true eternal essence. The ego and mind are set on the back burner. There is no second guessing about if we have arrived in the parking lot of our soul or not. It's so obvious, it's like the difference between knowing the sun is shining or not. There is only this pure feeling of knowing and getting that we are all unlimited, unbounded, perfect beings connected in each moment to an infinite stream of conscious, intelligent energy. The soul makes us wake up and realize that we can do the impossible. Its energy is so powerful, eternal, and cannot be changed. The more we relax into this understanding, the more we stop fighting with our mind and its list of unfulfilled desires. We simply give up following our thoughts blindly around and begin relaxing beneath them into the quiet solitude underneath the mind, which makes everything in this life more interesting and less challenging than it needs to be. The third step is to the unveiling your spiritual amazingness is in the practice of a thing called trust. This universe is always protecting every one of us, helping us, serving our highest good. It has never abandoned any of us and is always here assisting us to blaze through our challenges and find our greatest possible joy in this life. When we trust in this process, everything changes in our perception and reality. The universe is conspiring in our favor. It wants us it wants what we want. Be a pro-noiac, not a paranoiac. Just notice what it feels like to sit back and relax into the feeling of trusting in this universe and knowing it is guiding you. When we practice the trust vibe, we can listen easily to the subtle hints from this universe. We know our life purpose and spiritual direction, and then we stop ignoring it. The trusting signs are there. Just look for them. Take heed. Stop getting in the way of your highest possibility. It is in trusting this universe that we can give ourselves permission to manifest the most amazing, miraculous lives we could ever imagine. We actually get what we truly want through trusting. We stop settling for a fear-based, rushed lifestyle that we really don't desire. So this is an invitation for you right now to take time to settle yourself into the energy of trust right now. Breathe it into your body. Feel it inside your heart. Practice this one all day long, all night long. Notice how good this feels. See if you can notice how many ways the universe is guiding, assisting, and protecting you in the next 48 hours. It is an amazing feeling when you can remain in the state of trust all week long, as it is this energy which opens the door to let your soul's full presence to come flying through. Now, the fourth step to discovering your soul comes from recognizing and letting go of your fears. Take the time when you're in the grocery line to find out what you're truly afraid of in this life. Look deep inside and face whatever old dark demons are inside you. They are just you hiding from your own soul. Your fears are not meant to haunt you and stay with you forever. That is not their purpose. If you are not facing your fears every day, then they are not fully serving you. You're meant to work with fear, push against it, so that you expand your sense of self, grow beyond it. Release your attachments to what the fear means and realize each one is merely a ridiculous, misguided thought. Give yourselves fully over to being fearless human beings. By facing every fear that arises, you get to know your true warrior self as an all-loving, all-powerful, fearless, multidimensional spiritual being with unlimited potentiality. Who knew that the darkness would lead us to the light? And with just a little exploration, and our daily journey home becomes a very sacred healing process. Only you can say where the road goes. Everyone sets their goals for the hour, for the relationship, and for every phase of life. L. Ron Hubbard. Now, the fifth step to uncovering our sparkling, bright souls coming from retraining our brains to be alert and remain focused only on that which we truly desire. What do we want in this life? What we want wants us to have it. And when we can keep our minds focusing on what we want and off what we don't want, the most amazing things will manifest in our presence. Nobody cares to hear what's on your long list of complaints. Put your kingdom of don't wants up for sale. And then recalibrate your mind to meditate on what you do desire. What are those things that make your heart sing? The simple refocusing of the mind on what you want in this life is incredibly powerful and transformative. Once the mind comes around to the conclusion that as long as it's focusing on what it doesn't want, it's never going to be happy, then it starts to rely more on pure awareness to liberate it. The mind is already deeply trained and programmed to rewind and replay the same 60,000 plus thoughts it had yesterday. It doesn't like to deviate from the norm yet. When you redirect it to remain focused on what you want to think about all day long, your soul peeks through and opens everything up, like a flower meeting the first morning rays of sunshine. You come to feel the amazing warmth that is inside your being. This is the day you truly know your soul intimately, and it will show everyone in the most natural, unassuming ways the all-powerful, deeply eternal loving beings we already are. Don't waste your time, your life, for that which is going to be taken away. Don't waste your life for that which is going to be taken away. Trust life. Trust God. If you trust, only then can you drop your knowledge. Only then can you put your mind aside. And with trust, something immense opens up. Then this life is no longer an ordinary life. It becomes full of God overflowing. Also, the power of contacting the state of consciousness, which is outside the mental body. Manome, Sharir, and therefore the mental body, which means Manome Sharir, and therefore inconceivable. And through this power, the covering of the light is destroyed. Once we are beyond the body-mind for the first time, we become aware that we are not the mind, but the witness. Below the mind, we remain identified with it. Once we know that thoughts, mental images, ideas are just objects, floating clouds in our consciousness, we are separate from them immediately. The power of contacting the state of consciousness, which is outside the mental body, and therefore inconceivable, is called Mahaveta. We become beyond body. Mahaveta means one who is beyond body. One who is no longer confined to any body. One who knows that they are not the body, gross or subtle. One who knows that he is infinite, with no boundaries. Mahaveta means one who can come to feel that they have no boundaries. All boundaries are confinements, imprisonments. And we can break them, drop them, and we can become one with the infinite sky. This moment of realizing oneself as the infinite is the moment through this power, the covering of the light is destroyed. Then the covering is dropped, which has been hiding our light. We are like lights which are being hidden under covers and covers. By and by, each and every cover has to be taken away. More light will penetrate out of it. Manome Kosh, the mental body, once dropped, we become meditation. We become a no mind. All our effort is here, is how to go beyond the Manome Kosh, the mental body. How to become aware. You are not the thinking process. Performing Samayana on their gross, constant, subtle, all-pervading, and functional state brings mastery over the Panchabhutas, which are the five elements. This is one of the most potential sutras of Patanjali and very significant for future science. One day or other, science is going to discover the meaning of this sutra. Science is already on the path toward it. The sutra says that all the elements in the world, the pancha, mahabhutas, which are earth, air, fire, etc. They come out of nothing, and they go again into nothingness to rest. Everything comes out of nothing, and when tired, goes back and rests into nothingness. Now science, particularly physicists, agree with it. That matter has come out of nothing. The deeper they have gone into matter, the more they have discovered that there is nothing like the material. The deeper they go, matter becomes more and more elusive. And finally, it slips out of their fingers. Nothing remains. Just emptiness. Just pure space. Out of pure space, everything is born. Looks very illogical, but life is illogical. The whole of modern science has become illogical because if you persist in your logic, you cannot move into reality. If you move into reality, you have to drop logic. And of course, when there is a choice between logic and reality, how can you choose logic? You have to drop logic. Just 50 years ago, scientists came to realize that quanta, electric particles, behave in a very ridiculous way. Because like a Zen master, unbelievable, absurd, sometimes they look like waves, and sometimes they look like particles. Now, before that, it was a tacit understanding that something can be either a particle or a wave. One and the same thing cannot be both together simultaneously. A particle and a wave, it means something can be a point and a line together at the same time. Impossible. Euclid will not agree. Aristotle will simply deny. You've gone mad. A point is a point, and a line is many points in a row. So how can one point be a line also at the same time remaining a point? That looks absurd. And Euclid and Aristotle prevailed. Just 50 years before, their whole edifice collapsed because scientists came to know that the quantum, the electric particle, behaves in both ways simultaneously. Logicians raised arguments and they said, this is not possible. Physicists said, what can we do? It is not a question of possibility or impossibility. It is so. We cannot do anything. If the quantum is not going to follow Aristotle, what can we do? And if the quantum behaves in a non-Euclidean way, does not follow the geometry of Euclid, what can we do? We have to listen to the behavior of the real and the reality. This is one of the very critical moments in the history of human consciousness. It has always been believed that something can come only out of something simple and natural, obviously. So, how can something come out of nothing? Then matter disappeared, and the scientists have no they have to conclude that everything is born out of nothing and everything disappears again into nothing. Now they're talking about black holes. Black holes are holes of tremendous nothingness. So you can call it tremendous nothing, tremendous nothingness. Because that nothingness is not just an absence. It is full of energy, but the energy is of nothingness. There is nothing to find, but there is energy. Now they say there exist black holes in existence. They are parallel to stars. Stars are positive, and parallel to each star, there is a black hole. The star is, the black hole is not. Each star, when burned, exhausted, becomes a black hole. And each black hole, when rested, becomes a star. Matter, no matter, go on changing. Matter becomes no matter. No matter becomes matter. Life becomes death. Death becomes life. Love becomes hate. Hate becomes love. Polarities continuously change. Performing Samayama on their gross, constant, subtle, all-pervading, and functional state brings mastery over the Panchabhutas, the 5 elements. Mastery over the 5 elements. If you have come to understand your true nature of witnessing, and then if you concentrate, or when you concentrate or choose to concentrate, you bring Samayama on any matter. You can make it appear or disappear. You can help things to materialize because they come out of nothingness. And you can help things to dematerialize. Now, that yet remains to be seen by physicists. Whether it is possible or not, it is happening that matter changes and becomes no matter. No matter changes and becomes matter. They have come to feel many absurd things these last 50 years. It is one of the most potential ages ever, where so many things have exploded that it has become almost impossible to confine them in a system. How to make a system? It was very easy just 50 years earlier to create a self-contained system, and now it is not possible. Reality has poked its nose from everywhere and destroyed all doctrinaries. All systems, all dogmas. Reality has proved to be too much. Scientists say it is happening. Patanjali says it can be made to happen. If it is happening, then why can it not be made to happen? Just watch. You heat water. At 100 degrees, it becomes vapor. It has always been happening. Before fire was ever discovered, the sun rays were evaporating water from the seas and rivers, and clouds were forming, and water was coming back again into the rivers, again evaporating. Then man discovered fire. And then he started heating water, evaporating. Whatever is happening, ways and means can be found to make it happen. If it is already happening, then it is not against reality. Then you have just to know how to make it happen. If matter becomes no matter becomes matter. If things change, polarities, things disappear into nothingness, and things appear out of nothingness. If this is already happening, ways and means can be found through which it can be made to happen. And this is the way. If you have come to recognize your being beyond the 5 seeds, you become capable of materializing things or dematerializing things. It still remains for the scientific workers to find out whether it is possible or not. But it seems very plausible. There seems to be no logical problem in it. From this follows the attainment of anema, etc., perfection of the body, and the removal of the elements, power to obstruct the body. And then come the 8 siddhis, 8 powers of yogis. The first is anema, and then there is laghima and garima, etc. The 8 powers are that they can make their body disappear, or they can make their body so small it becomes almost invisible, or they can make the body so big as they want. It is under their control to make the body small, big, or disappear completely, or to appear in many places simultaneously. Looks impossible, doesn't it? But things that look impossible by and by become possible. It was impossible for us to fly. Nobody ever believed the Wright brothers were thought to be mad, insane, when they invented their first airplane. They were so afraid to tell people that if people come to know, they would be caught and hospitalized. The first flight was done completely unknown to anybody, just these 2 brothers. And they invented their first airplane, hiding in a basement. So nobody came to know what they were doing. Everybody had believed that they had gone completely mad. Who has ever flown? Their first air flight was of 60 seconds only. Only of 60 seconds. But it changed the whole of history tremendously. The whole of humanity. It became possible. Nobody had ever thought that the atom could be split. It was split. And now men can never be the same again. Many things have happened which were always thought to be impossible. We have reached the moon in more ways than we're aware of. And we're not talking about the moon landing. It was the symbol of impossibility in all the languages of the world. There are expressions like, don't long for the moon. That means don't long for the impossible. Now we have to change those expressions. In fact, once we have reached the moon, which, believe it or not, we did a long time ago, way before we had rockets. Now nothing debars the path. Now everything has become available. It is only a question of time. Or is it? Einstein has said that if we can invent a vehicle which moves with the speed of light, then a person can go on traveling and they will never age. If we can invent a vehicle which moves with the speed of light, then a person can go on traveling and they will never age. If they go on a spaceship that moves with the speed of light, when they are 30 years old and comes back after 30 years, they will remain 30 years old. His friends and brothers, or their friends and brothers, will be 60 years old. A few of them will be already dead, but the person will remain 30 years old. So many people would say, what nonsense are you saying? Einstein says time and its effect disappear when one is moving with the speed of light. A man can go on infinite space travel and can come back after 500 years. All the people here will be gone. Nobody will recognize him, and he will not recognize anybody. But he will remain the same age. We are aging because of the speed of the earth. Understand this. We are aging, all of us, because the speed of the earth. If the speed is as much as light, which is really tremendous, then we will not age at all. If we have moved beyond all the 5 bodies, we have gone beyond all 5 elements. Now we are in a state from where we can control anything we wish, just by the idea that we want to become small, we will become small. If we want to become big, we will become big. If we want to disappear, we can disappear. It is not necessarily that yogis should do it. Buddhists have never been known to do it. Patanjali himself has not been known to do it. But what we are saying, what is being revealed, and revealing all the possibilities. In fact, a human who has attained their uttermost being, for what will they think to become small? For what? They can't be so foolish. For what? For what would they like to become? Right? For what would they like to become, like an elephant? What is the point in it? And why should we want to disappear? How can we be interested in amusing people? Their curiosity. Man is not a magician. He's not interested in people applauding him. For what? In fact, the moment a person reaches the highest peak of their being, all desires disappear. Siddhis appear when desires disappear. This is the dilemma. Powers come when you don't want to use them. In fact, they come only when the person has disappeared who always wanted to have them. This is why we say all things become possible. But they are never actualized because the person who would want it, who would have always liked to go on an ego trip through these powers, is no longer there. Miraculous powers happen to us when we are not interested in them. This is the economy of existence. If we desire, we remain impotent. If we don't desire, we become infinitely potent. This I call the law of banking. If you don't have money, no bank is going to give you any. If you have money, every bank is ready to give you more. When you don't need, all is available. When you are needy or needing, nothing is available. Have you ever experienced that? Beauty, grace, strength, adamantine hardness constitute the perfect body. This body can be beautiful, but can never be perfectly beautiful. The second body can be more beautiful than this. The third even more, because they are moving closer to the center. The beauty is of the center. The farther away it has to travel, the more limited it becomes. The fourth body is even more beautiful. The fifth is almost 99% perfect. But that which is your being, the real you, is beauty, grace, strength, and adamantine hardness. It is adamantine hardness, and at the same time the softness of a lotus. It is beautiful, but not fragile, strong. It is strong, but not just hard. All opposites meet in it, as if a lotus flower is made of diamonds, or a diamond is made of lotus flowers. Because man and woman meet there and transcend. Because sun and moon meet there and transcend. The old term for yoga is hatha. This word hatha is very, very, very significant. Ha, H-A, means sun. Fa, T-H-A, means moon. And hatha means the meeting of the sun and the moon. The union of sun and moon is yoga. Unio mystica. And the human body, according to the hatha yogis, there are three channels of energy. One is known as Pingala, and that is the right channel, connected with the left brain, the sun channel. Then there is another channel, Ida, the left channel, connected with the right brain, the moon channel. And then there is the third channel, the middle channel, the Sushumna, the central, the balance. It is made of the sun and the moon together. Ordinarily, our energy moves either by the Pingala or by Ida. Yogi's energy starts moving through the Sushumna. This is called Kundalini. When the energy moves just between these two, right and left, these channels exist corresponding to your backbone. Once the energy moves in the middle channel, you become balanced. Then a person is neither a man nor a woman, neither hard nor soft, or both, man and woman, hard and soft. All the polarities disappear, and Sushumna and Sahasrara is the peak of Sushumna. If you live on the lowest point of your being, that is the Muladhara, the sex center. Then either you move by Ida or you move by Pingala, the sun channel or the moon channel. And you remain divided. And you go on seeking the other. You go on asking for the other. You feel incomplete in yourself. You have to depend on the other. Once our own energies meet inside, a great orgasm happens, a cosmic orgasm. When the idea, the Ida, and the Pingala dissolve into Sushumna, then one is thrilled, eternally thrilled. then one is ecstatic, continuously ecstatic. Then that ecstasy knows no end. Then one never comes down. Then one never comes low. One remains high. That point of highness becomes one's innermost core, one's very being. Now remember, this is the framework. We're not talking about actual things. There are foolish people who have been even tried to dissect the human body to see where Ida is and Pingala is. And where is Sushumna? They have found them nowhere. These are just indicators, symbolic. There are foolish people who have tried to dissect the body and to find where the centers are. I kid you not. One doctor has even written a book to prove which center is exactly which complex in the body according to physiologists. These are all foolish attempts. Yoga is not in that way scientific, it is allegorical. It is a great allegory. It is showing something, and if you go inside, you will find it. But there is no way to find it by dissecting a body, by post-mortem. You will not find these things. These are alive phenomena. And these words are simply indicative. Don't be confined to them. Don't make a fixed obsession and doctrine out of them. Remain fluid. Take the hint. Go on the journey. One more word. It is Erd Veritas. It means the upward journey of energy. Right now, we are existing. Right now, we are all existing at the sex center. And from that center, the energy goes on falling downward. The Ud Veritas means our energy starts moving upward. A delicate, very delicate phenomenon. And one has to be very alert to work with it. If we are not alert, there is every possibility we will become perverted beings. It is dangerous. That's why yogis call it serpent power. It is dangerous. It is like a snake. You are playing with a snake. If you don't know how to, what to do, there is danger. You are playing with poison. And many people have become perverted because they tried to repress their sex energy in order to become Erd Veritas, to go upward. They never went upward. They even became more perverted than normal people. That's why a master is needed. One who knows where you are going, what is going to happen next. One who can see your future, and one who can see whether the right channeling is happening or not. Otherwise, the whole world is in a mess of sexual perversion. Never repress. It is better to be normal and natural than to be perverted. But just to be normal is not enough. Much more is possible. Transform. Repression is not the way of the upward flow of energy. It is transformation is. And that can be done only if we purify our bodies, we purify our minds, we throw away all rubbish that we've gathered in the body and the mind. Only with a purity, light, weightlessness, will we be able to help the energy to move upward. Ordinarily, it is like a coiled snake. That is why we call it Kundalini or Kundali. Kundali means coiled up. When it raises its head and moves upward. Tremendous is the experience. Whenever it passes a higher center, you will have higher and higher and higher experiences. At each center, many things will be revealed to you. You are a great book, but the energy has to pass through the centers. Only then can those centers reveal to you their beauties, their visions, their poetries, their songs, their dances. And each center has a higher orgasm than the lower one. Sexual orgasm is the lowest. Higher is the orgasm of the hara. Then higher than that is the orgasm of the nabi, the navel. Then higher than that is that of love, the heart. Then higher than that is that of the throat, creativity, sharing. Then higher than that is that of the third eye, the vision of life, as reality it is, without any projections, the clarity to see unclouded. And highest is that of the Sahasrara, the seventh center. This is the map. If you want, you can move upward, become Udhishvartas. But never try to become Udhishvartas for cities, powers. They're all foolish. Try to become Udhishvartas to know who you are, not for power, but for peace. Let peace be thy goal, never power. And Vibhuti means power. There are many powers, and we are to be made alert that these many powers happen on the way, but we are not to get entangled with them. Once we become entangled with power, once we are on a power trip, we are in trouble. We will be tied down to that spot, and our flight will be stopped. And one has to go on flying and flying and flying till the very end. When the abyss opens, and we are absorbed back into the cosmic soul, let peace be our goal. I'll join in the meditation and I'll return to close us up. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Remain still. Who you think you are is just a concept and is not even close to the amazing multidimensional being that you really are. Look into a mirror for 5 minutes today. Stare into the black holes in your eyes. Let yourself disappear in the emptiness. Stay for 30 seconds in one state of mind. Keep breathing and noticing who is the creative witnesser behind your eyes. Observe what conscious spiritual energy is present. Lose yourself in the experience. Who is having the experience? Let yourself dissolve into the experiencer. Who is having the experience? Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night and following morning. We'll return here Monday, November 21, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call.
Goodbye.